Expand your most valuable asset. My name's Jackson, and throughout my life, I have been dreading to answer one question: what is possible? And I believe we can answer that through expanding our cognitive ability, through expanding our minds. Now, your mind is broken into three different parts. First is your spiritual. This is the spirit and the soul inside of you. This is what leads you. This is your divine self and your connection to the universe. Number two is your mental. This is how you react to your experiences that you've seen throughout life. When a bear charges at you, this is how you react. This is how you command your walkers. Your brain is made up of millions of different parts. And a lot of these are memory. These memory are what you've been seeing throughout your entire life. This is the third part of your mind, and this is basically what we would consider skills. This is what we pay people for. Maybe you're good at packing a shelf. Maybe you know sales. Whatever that may be, that is a skill set, and there's a little sub-walker within your mind, and your mental abilities are what control these different skill sets, right? What makes someone who's at the top level very valuable is they don't have just one skill set. They have multiple skill sets that they're able to command at that mental level as well. It's not just about learning the skills, but it's about commanding all of the skills you have within inside yourself. Now, third is, how do we lead the mental abilities in our brain? How do we control those? How do we make those better? How do we make better decisions and have better judgment? And that is done through your spiritual self. That is done through your soul. That is done by being authentic. Now, one might ask the question, how do you become the best version of yourself? I would argue that it's just the most authentic version of yourself, right? And so how do you truly unlock what you were put on this planet to do? Some of you might feel that you have a lot of things figured out and that you're really successful in these set areas in life, yet you're still missing something. There's something that is just not there. And what that is, in my opinion, is that neural connection between your brain. How your brain works is you have your spirit and your soul, which you can't, I guess, draw out or say that it's real, yet we all believe that it's real, and that is what controls your mind. And think about your mind as your mental ability and your cognitive ability that controls all of these subset of workers. You have millions of these little connections in these little towns, I guess you can call, inside your brain, and the neural networks are the roads, right? And each town has governors, right? And those governors have kings or whatever that they look up to, and so that's your mental ability, and that king looks up to a god, and that is your spirit. And so if you think about how a medieval system worked, 400 or 500 years ago, or I guess I would argue how today works as well, it's the same exact principle that's going on inside your mind. It's kind of funny, how did we come to building towns? How did we come to this architecture in which we govern everything? Well, we simply just used what we already had inside of us. We use the same governing structure that we have within inside our brains, and that's what our mental abilities come from. We tend to build what's inside on the outside as a projection of what we truly feel. And if you look around everything from the past world, ancient history, to present day, you'll see that is so true. Now, for me, I want to document, how do we build these roads and these connections, and how do we expand upon them, right? Because that thing that you're missing is inside your brain already. You just don't have a connection to it. Or maybe you did have a connection to it, but through some event or something that occurred, you no longer have that connection. And so for me, I'm going to be documenting, how can I bridge those connections, and how can I expand that roadmap, that neural network that governs everything and allows us to become the best version of ourselves. So come with me along this journey, along this series, to really uncover and see what is possible with the mind.